What a game for these New York Knicks, getting the W in Toronto with the final score of 113 to 108. RJ Barrett tries his best to beat his old team with 30 points, but it was too little as Karl-Anthony Towns hits the dagger to win the game. He's flexing the New York jersey afterwards. Woo! What a game for the Knicks. A game they needed to win after losing the way that they did on Saturday night against Detroit. Knicks fans, you guys sound off in the comments your overall thoughts of the Knicks W over the Toronto Raptors. I'm excited to share my thoughts of this one because, boy, oh boy, we saw another well-balanced effort from the New York Knicks. The featured player on the highlight reel is Mikal Bridges, who came in huge in this game, a pivotal piece of the Knicks' success. 5 3-pointers for Mikal Bridges. Jalen Brunson had a little injury scare here. Karl-Anthony Towns with the dagger, like we alluded to. Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, and seeing RJ Barrett do what he did in Toronto with 30 points. You knew that RJ wanted this game so bad, but nope. Sorry, RJ. The New York Knicks reign supreme, baby. So hit that like button if you're enjoying the video, and let's get straight into business. Before we do, want to give a big shout out to BetUS for being the proud sponsor of Knicks Media all season long. Make sure you guys check them out by using the code YouTube150 to get your 150% bonus. You guys know by now you can go check them out. They got all the best Knicks NBA bets you can ask for. 125% bonus on your second and third deposit by using the code YouTube150 all the way up to $2,000 with a 10% gambler's insurance. Please, please bet responsibly, but definitely big shout out to BetUS as always. Now, this was a game that felt like, you know, the Toronto Raptors started off red hot early in the first quarter. The Knicks came back and went on a run in the first quarter to lead 34-27. The Raptors answered and won the second quarter, and it was even at halftime. And then you saw this Knicks team deal with some adversity right when Jalen Brunson's ankle got rolled up on a Toronto Raptors fan sitting courtside. Brunson was livid. He was looking at him like, yo, did you really just injure me? Now, I rewatched it. Didn't really look like it was on purpose from the fan. It's just an unfortunate sequence. Luckily, Jalen Brunson returned in the game and hit a crazy 4-point play. You see, it was 2 seconds on the shot clock. Just has to hoist it up. Gets fouled. Swoosh. Brunson's sitting there holding it just like, for like 10 seconds. Shout out to JB, man. He went out there with 20 points and 11 dimes for Jalen Brunson. 7 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from downtown. It's just really unreal that I feel like we're getting used to this, and I don't want Knicks fans to start getting used to what I'm about to say here because I cannot take this for granted. Knicks fans should not take this for granted. It feels like every single game, or majority of the games, we have the starting 5, every single player score double figures. Do you guys have any idea how insane that is? I mean, there's not teams in the NBA is doing that every single night like the Knicks. This Knicks starting 5 is something special. It's the best starting 5 offensively in the league, guaranteed. I'm pretty sure they're number 1 offensive rating or close to the top. I mean, you got Cat with 24 leading the way, Bridges with 23, Brunson with 20, OG with 14, Josh Hart with 10. I mean, the fact that we have 5 guys that gives you double-digit points pretty much every single night, it's a joy to watch. I'm not taking it for granted. The efficiency was fantastic, and the Raptors were a pesky team, man. I know the Raptors are not a good basketball team. They're without Emmanuel Quickly still. RJ Barrett's their leader right now, but I feel like the Knicks needed this W and in the clutch to kind of go back on a little run now, especially going into the NBA Cup starting Wednesday night, the quarterfinals, I believe, going up against the Atlanta Hawks. So I really wanted to get some momentum heading into that game. Big minutes from Precious Achiuwa in his return to Toronto off the bench. He had 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks. I mean, he had those 2 blocks within a minute, back-to-back sequences, which is awesome to see. Deuce McBride, 26 minutes off the bench. He had 8 points, 5 dimes, 50% from the field, and a steal. And then you talk about OG Anunoby. I mean, this guy is just an absolute menace on the defensive end. We all know what he brings. 3 blocks, 2 steals. His homecoming from Toronto, his first game back in Toronto since he was traded to the New York Knicks, I believe. And he definitely went out there and was an absolute dog. 41 minutes for OG Anunoby, and he went out there and put up 14 points, 3 assists, all right? My voice is a little raspy right now. I lost it a little bit. If you guys know, I do cover the New York Jets, and I did go to the Jets-Dolphins game, and I was yelling the whole time. I know the Jets suck, okay? But that's why I wasn't able to make a Knicks video, by the way, on Saturday night, if you guys are wondering. But we're back home in New York, and, of course, we're talking about this Knicks-Raptors game. And I feel like now we're seeing the energy of this Knicks squad come together, and you're seeing the chemistry, you're seeing the clutch gene. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me in this game. We've seen so many times in previous seasons, and even early on in this season in particular, the Knicks not be able to win the game late in the fourth quarter. Something goes wrong. We're not able to hit the clutch shot. I feel like everything changed when Jalen Brunson missed that game-winning shot against the Chicago Bulls, like in the first or second week of the season when it rimmed out. Ever since that moment, Jalen Brunson's been different. Karl-Anthony Towns been different. This Knicks organization and the team has been different. It felt like the adversity that the Knicks have the adversity they felt early on in the season was important for them to build the chemistry and build the camaraderie that they're dealing with right now. And the fact that Cat went out there and hit that dagger, it was just a joy to watch. And I do want to highlight Mikal Bridges a little bit more because the storyline of Bridges is very intriguing to me, because of the slander that a lot of Knicks fans were putting on him early on in the season. When you trade 5 first-round picks for a guy, you're expecting him to come in here and be an immediate impact. But the reality is he's trying to figure out his role. How does he fit next to Jalen Brunson, who's the captain, next to Karl-Anthony Towns, who's the all-star, right, next to OG Anunoby, who's getting paid the big bucks, and next to Josh Hart, who's the glue. Like, Mikal is trying to find his role here, and I feel like he's found it. I really, really do. Obviously, he's a lights-out catch-and-shoot three-point shooter from the corner. He can shoot the ball from the wing. I feel like his mid-range jump shot is lethal. He's also excellent off-ball. They got to feed him when he's cut into the basket. His little baby hook shots, his little mid-range in the paint, and not to mention his defense is leveling it up every single game as the season goes on. So definitely big shout out to Mikal Bridges and an overall great quality win for the Knicks, outscoring the Raptors 30-22 and winning the game, because we know what the narrative would have been if the Knicks lost with RJ getting 30 plus. Oh, you know what the NBA narrative would have been about that. So the Knicks had to get this win for optics, and not just for optics, for obvious reasons. We're trying to, get as high in the seeding as possible as we are, and going into the NBA Cup. So Knicks fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button if you guys enjoyed. Let's go Knicks. Another shout out to BetUS as always for sponsoring the show. Let's go Knicks, and let's go beat the Atlanta Hawks, please. I'm not going to lie. I want that NBA Cup. Some people may not think it's a big deal. I'm down to go all the way, win that tournament. We'll talk about that soon on the channel. Peace out, folks. Enjoy the rest of your night.